what is going down? What the fuck is going down? It is your boy, StudioMaguyver, and you are listening to StudioMaguyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. If you're into anime, if you're into nerd culture, video games, then you've come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here, guys. And today's episode number 225, man, that's a lot of episodes. Gonna get into some new shit, all right? And one of those things I'm going to get into is the Dragon Ball thing. Dragon Ball has a new movie coming out if you guys have been hiding under a rock. And I'm going to talk about that today. It's going to be a Dragon Ball kind of podcast today. There's no gaming really going to be discussed. I'll discuss one game, which I'm currently playing right now. And it is also related to Dragon Ball. So, yeah, man, there's a lot of things I want to talk about when it comes to this movie. Last week, I touched on manga chapter 74. And from the Dragon Ball Super manga and what was going on there, and being a huge Vegeta fan, finding out about his new form, and I talked a little bit about that. There were some things that I was a little off on, and that was because the manga ended right before Vegeta and Granola got into this fight. So really, everybody's looking forward to that chapter 75. And it's going to be a doozy. I mean, chapter 74 was already high octane, high impact, from them fighting. But now I can only imagine what it's going to look like now, and trying to get a look at what Vegeta's new form is going to show us. Like, how powerful is this actually going to be? What new techniques, if any, will we be able to see? We find out about. It's crazy. This is the only manga that I truly follow because it's Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball is my first love, if you will. But everything else, I try to get in bits and pieces when I can. But anyway, let's get on this Dragon Ball movie. But before I do, I want to let everybody know, if you are interested in this show, if you're interested in the content that I give you guys and you want to know more, you want to get into that, you can easily do so by going to www.StudioMaguyver.com. There you can get all of my handles if you want to contact me, if you want to take part in any other things that I have going on, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you name it, it's there. And if you want to support the show and purchase some merch, you can also do that. I highly encourage you guys to do so. If you want a podcast cup, a coffee mug, if you want a hoodie or a t-shirt, man, please do this show a favor and do that. And in doing so, with enough people, enough purchases, that may allow me to extend the podcast from 1 week to 2 weeks. 2 episodes a week instead of one. You know what I mean? But we got to reach that milestone first, baby. But anyway, giving you guys the information, so definitely take part in that if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy the show, and many more to follow. Now, the game that I've been playing, it's crazy. It's a Nintendo DS game, and I've talked about this game a lot. I was talking to a couple people on Instagram, and they didn't even know about this game, and they're supposedly, pretty big Dragon Ball fans themselves. But that could be understandable depending on your age and depending on what's going on. Because hey, Naruto, I was a big fan, and I wasn't a fan of Naruto like I am now. I became a Naruto fan pretty recently, within the last 4 years or so. I've become a huge Naruto fan. So, there were so many games and other things that existed for that I never knew about. Game systems that I had and all these things that I completely missed the mark on those games because I wasn't even checking for it. So I can understand that. But the game that I'm playing right now is called Attack of the Saiyans. Now, this is a Nintendo DS game. It's one of my favorite Dragon Ball games of all time. One of my favorite, believe it or not, RPGs of all time, because it is a Dragon Ball RPG, and there are a few of them out there. Okay, I can't think of the other ones, but there are a couple other ones that people enjoy a little bit as well. But this is my cup of tea right here, and I love this one because it is a turn-based RPG, but it focuses on the characters that I love the most, the more down-to-earth type of characters, and it focuses on the time early on in Dragon Ball Z where everything starts. It really starts at the beginning of Z, towards the beginning. Really right after, I want to say, it takes place right after Dragon Ball. Okay, right after the events of Dragon Ball. It's the 23rd actually it starts at the 23rd martial arts tournament is when it starts, slightly before that, if I'm being exact. But yeah, man, I mean, it has, my favorite character. It focuses, he's one of the main characters, and I'm talking about Ten Shinhan, and the game did him so much justice. This is one of the only games I think has done that. There's a couple other ones out there. I like Raging Blast 2, which I really enjoy. If you guys are into Dragon Ball fighting games, definitely check out Raging Blast 2. It's one of my favorites. But the all-time, if I have to say within fighting, it'd be Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 3, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That is the one right there, because it has like literally hundreds of characters in there. I think every character from Dragon Ball all the way up until fucking Dragon Ball Z. I know it has pretty much every character in Dragon Ball Z there. Okay, all the versions, everything is ridiculous, and some extra characters as well. So definitely, those are some of the best Dragon Ball games out there, guys. But yeah, Attack of the Saiyans, I'm playing it now on the Nintendo DS. I'm playing I don't want to call it bootleg. I'm emulating it right now. But I did buy the actual game, and it should be here soon, because I want to play that on a bigger screen, man. I mean, maybe it's because I'm getting old. I don't know. But the screen is very small now. So every time I try to play the Nintendo DS, man, it seems like it's harder and harder to play it. So I have a actual Nintendo 3DS. I think it's called XL, if you want to put it in terms. So the screen is bigger, everything's bigger about it. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing that on that device there. But I love that game. It's highly addictive, man. And every time I pick it up and play it, I cannot stop. And I have to grind. I grind all day. I play that game for hours just grinding, and getting my characters up to par or whatnot. But it's an awesome RPG, guys. Just think of Dragon Ball with RPG. Turn-based RPG is dope, and there's a lot of cool mechanics involved in it as well. You can actually time your opponent's hit. If you time it correctly and hit the button right as they're hitting you, you can kind of deflect some of the damage and sometimes miss it altogether. There's little nuances within the game that I really like, and I never had a chance to finish it. So I'm looking forward to actually finishing it now. And I've heard there's a lot of secrets involved. Like there's Brawly in there somewhere. He's like a secret boss, and there's some other things going on. So definitely going to take a deeper dive into the game, and I can't wait. But it is definitely one of my favorite Dragon Ball games, believe it or not. And it's on a Nintendo DS, of all places, of all things. There's another one that goes by the name of Dragon Ball Adventures. And there's two versions of it. The one that I ended up playing was the Game Boy Advanced. Man, and that one is a classic. But the other one I think was on the Nintendo. I want to say the Nintendo. I can't remember. But there's two versions of the game, and they're awesome games as well. And that's Goku as a child playing. It's just a lot of dope shit. Anyway, that's the only game I've been playing. I've been really, really busy, guys, these last couple of weeks, and I'll get into that. Well, I haven't really had a chance to play any more games. I hadn't played any more of Monster Hunter Stories 2. I haven't, I've downloaded a few games on the Xbox, and there's one in particular that I want to play, and that is Ascent, which comes out like the 29th of July. But other than that, man, I don't have anything in my crosshairs right now, and I don't know how much of that I'm going to be able to play, at least in the coming weeks, because I've been very busy, and I'm going to get to that at the end of the show, why I've been so busy, and I'll let you guys know that. But right now we're talking about Dragon Ball Superhero, and that's the name of the fucking movie, guys. Okay, Dragon Ball Super / Superhero. All right, and it's coming out 2022. We got some new information on this movie, guys, and then I'm gonna open up a whole can of worms when it comes to this Dragon Ball shit, and it's not all gonna be sweet. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 110% with you guys, because as an avid Dragon Ball fan, somebody who grew up watching this and know every nook and cranny and all the characters and all these things, it's the reason why I even have this podcast in the first place. I'm going to get into all of this shit, guys, and discuss it with you guys. And hopefully you agree with some of it. And I'm sure that, you'll disagree with some other things as well. But, this is coming from my perspective, and I'm going to give it to you this fucking episode 225, baby. All right. Now, I'll give you, first of all, the tidbits and everything that I know so far about this fucking movie. All right. And Toriyama is always trying to break the mold and do different things. And I commend him for that as well, even though it can end up being a detriment to him sometimes. All right. and I'll get into that. But what I know so far about the movie, guys, is, of course, it's coming out in 2022. Do we know the date? No, we do not. They're still currently working on all this stuff. But they had a panel and not too long ago, and they were discussing everything and all things. Now, I do know that Toriyama is the most involved he has ever been in this particular project that he's been in the past. Now, he was involved definitely in the Brawley movie, the one that came out in 2019. But this one, he has actually involved more because he actually wrote the story and the script, and he did the character designs of this upcoming movie. So that's exciting in itself. But gonna get into more of it. But definitely, he also wanted everybody to know to be prepared for extreme, entertaining bouts, guys. This is definitely gonna have some dope fighting scenes and a lot of things going on with that. And a lot of people, let me just put this out here, a lot of people are a little salty, though. A lot of Dragon Ball fans are salty behind the other thing he mentioned, which is he wanted to take another approach, all right, a different approach and try something new, uncharted territory, so to speak. These are his words. And he means incorporating some more CG, okay, CGI, whatever you want to call it, into this movie. All right, now a lot of people frown down on that because, let's keep it real, CGI in anime, they're not really a really good fit. Now there's some exceptions to that rule. If you're talking about certain movies and certain things, the way it's done, it can be done right. There are ways that it can be done right, and I always revert back to Appleseed. If you don't know what Appleseed is, definitely Google that shit, check it out. I always refer to Appleseed when it comes to that because they did it right. But 9 times out of 10, that's not usually the case. So he's wanting to mix it in. It's not going to be full CGI. Don't have a baby yet. It's not going to be full CGI. It's going to be a mixture. It's kind of like a hybrid, and you can really get an idea of what I'm talking about if you go look at the trailer. There's like literally a 20-second trailer. 25-second trailer of the movie. It doesn't show any scenes or anything like that. All it shows is Goku getting warmed up, kind of like he did for the like the last movie when they were talking about the Brawley movie. All right, you see Goku kind of just jumping up and down, and he's kind of stretching his legs out and shit like that, and you get to see the art style that we're talking about. And you see it looks like it's 2D, but it also looks like it can be 3D. There's words can't describe what I'm talking about, guys. You would have to look at it and look at it for yourself, and you'd understand what I'm talking about. But I can understand why people might have an issue with that and the way it looks, because it kind of looks, CGI kind of looks just fake and kind of, I don't know, soft and round and kiddish in a sense. Words can't describe it, guys. You just have to see for yourself. It looks different. It's a little bit different. And I'm not a real big fan of that art style. You know what I mean? I'm more of like what they did with Brawley, which they killed it. I like a lot of sharp edges to the art. And that's just me personally, for Dragon Ball. But hey, everybody, I could be wrong. Could I see some things that changed my mind? Yeah, sure. And there actually are, prototypes out there right now from some characters in this movie that are going to be in the movie, and they look good. I mean, the prototypes look good. Now, what is it going to look like animated? I don't know. But what I'm looking at now, what I was looking at earlier, it tells me that, they're pretty solid designs. And you can tell it's Toriyama who's doing this. You can tell it's his artwork. You can tell he has that pen in his hand. Now, they showed off like 4 characters so far, and those 4 characters are Piccolo, Krillin, a new unnamed guy. He looks like an alien in there's 2 versions. One, he's wearing suits. They look similar, but there's a couple differences between the 2. One in particular is a number on their chest. One has a number 1 on his chest. One has a number 2 on his chest. And then they both wear capes, and each cape is different colors. Okay. So I don't know anything about it. He looks awesome. I mean, I like the design, and they also showed a gun or a taser, if you will. I guess the weapon that they'd be using. I don't know anything else. We don't know what this character is. Is he going to be helping? Is he going to be hurting? We don't know. Okay. But Krillin is basically being shown in his police uniform, and there's one slight not altercation. There's one slight alteration in his design. And if you are a real stickler for that type of stuff, then you would notice off the bat with Krillin, because how Krillin is animated and drawn, when it comes to his eyes, he has no white in his eyes. Okay, his skin tone is basically his whole face. The only thing that's different is just the black in his eyes, and that is it. But in this new design, the change in Krillin is the white. He actually has white in his eyes now, so a lot of people would miss that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's a slight design. He's also they also mentioned Piccolo with a slight coloration difference in his skin and portions of his skin, and that's a difference with him. We also get to see Piccolo's house as well, which is they show a house. It looks like a Namekian house, with those big bubble like type windows and stuff like that, and it looks cool. Just chilling on a hill, doing his thing or whatever. But he's definitely gonna be in this movie, and I got excited about that because I'm also a big Piccolo fan as well. Piccolo is definitely one of my top 5 characters in all of Dragon Ball, and I'm glad to see him in here. So to see him in here means most likely we're gonna see him get his shirt dirty. Okay, and I love to see the other characters get involved, and I'll get on that a little bit later and dive into that fucking rabbit hole. But so far we do know Piccolo's there, we know Krillin's there. Yeah, that's Goku's best friend. I mean, he gets that extra that pass in a lot of these instances because of that, because he's Goku's best friend or whatever. And me, I have an affinity for the other bald guy, which is the guy with the 3 eyes, and I'll get into that as well later. And hopefully he's able to come into this movie. The whole Z team, I hope, is able to make this movie. Usually they do. Usually when you see Krillin in there, you're gonna see the rest of them, or you're at least gonna see you're gonna see Tien Shinhan, because he's actually stronger. Okay, and I don't care what anybody says, he is stronger than Krillin, and I'll get into that as well. I'm gonna dive into all these things. My rants are gonna come up again. Some of you guys who are longtime listeners, you're gonna know what I'm gonna bring up, and the new listeners are not, but you will find out very, very shortly. But moving on, it brings another question to the forefront, because the 4th character is Pan. Now, if you guys don't know who Pan is, that's Gohan's daughter. All right. Now, the last time we saw her, she was a fucking baby. Okay. Now, supposedly this time skip in this movie is going to be very, very important, because supposedly Pan has a decent sized role in this movie. Okay. There's her image shows her like in a school outfit, grade school outfit, or whatever you want to call it. She's a little cute little thing, fat little cheeks and all of that. But that is what everybody kind of grasped onto, because they were like, what? Okay, if we got a time skip like this, the first thing that popped in most people's heads, in my opinion, is where is Gotenks and where is Trunks? Okay, and are they going to show up, and are they going to get finally going to get that fucking time skip, in their design? Are they going to show them as teenagers now? Because that's what they should be. They should literally be teenagers now, and everybody's wondering if that's going to be the case. And I hope that is the case, guys. I really fucking do. Okay. There's so many questions. All of this stuff brings up more questions, because the 5-year time skip in the movie, then it questions like, okay, well, we're getting this time skip, and then what are they going to do with the anime? Okay, are they gonna start the anime from this movie and go beyond, or is he going to cover the other arcs that are just taking place? You gotta cover the last 2 arcs. You gotta cover, the Moral arc, and you definitely gotta cover the Granola arc. You cannot pass those up. I mean, that is money, and I understand it is a lot of resources, because animation is definitely hard, and it takes a long time to get all that stuff right. If you want to do it right, it does. If you're not trying to hire elementary school kids and, feeding them with donuts and milk and telling them to, hey, let's draw some Goku pictures. We're not doing that. Okay. Hopefully they learned their lesson from Dragon Ball Super in the first quarter of Dragon Ball Super because it was fucking horrendous. All right, and I think they did. I mean, that it dirtied their name a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that studio definitely had a shit taken on it when that came out, and I hate it. Was so bad to watch. It was so hard to watch. It was like watching your like watching your pride and joy miss the last shot of a tournament game. Yeah, you're still gonna love them, but god damn it, why did it have to be that way? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's basically the kind of feeling that I got when Super first came out, and I don't think they want to repeat that shit again. But anyway, so many questions. I hope that they make this happen with Gotenks and Trunks, man, because it has to be done. I mean, I'm so tired of looking at these guys at this supposedly older, but in the same fucking bodies, okay, and just at a standstill. You know what I mean? And that's been an issue with a lot of Toriyama's work when it comes to Dragon Ball, and I'm gonna get into that, guys. I really, really am. All right, I promise you, I am. And then, but right now, I want to really emphasize what this means with this time skip, because he also mentioned that there's going to be an unexpected character in this movie, somebody that we're not going to expect, we don't expect to see, and that could be anybody, to be honest. I mean, what character could it be that's so unexpected? You could pull anyone out of the sky, man, and you would. I mean, who knows? I'm so anxious to see. And Toriyama could do some crazy shit like pull out another character from another manga or some shit like that. He's known for shit like that too. So I don't know, but I'm hoping, you know, that I'm going to be pleasantly surprised with this. And I mean, the animation and everything, because it's going to be very hard, very, very hard to top that Broly movie. It is. That Broly movie was fucking a masterpiece as far as the animation and what they did with that. I'm telling you right now, it was the creme de la fucking creme of all things Dragon Ball. All right. So I don't know what they're going to do. I hope they can pull it off. I mean, but even a movie that is, you know, half as good as that Broly movie is not going to be a bad movie. But we're trying to move up, not down. And I know he's going to do some different things. He's experimenting and all of that with the CGI. And you know, I'm all for new things, man. I really am. But I hope it's for the better. And if it's not, then I hope they take that lesson and say, well, okay, next movie or even, you know, during the anime, we're not gonna use this approach. We're gonna keep it, you know, original, and we're gonna keep moving like we did then. Okay, back in the days of Z, which I think were the best times, you know, of the anime period. I'm talking about the original dub and all of that too. All of those. Okay, I'm talking about Linda Young as Frieza, those fucking episodes, those days. But that's another topic of discussion. Now, the thing that I really hope, you know, I get to see, like I said, I mentioned earlier, which is the other members of the Z team. Now, usually when you see one, you see them all. But if you remember, I think Resurrection of F, okay, yes, there was Krillin. He was there. I think the only guys who were missing, but Yamcha was not there. But it was kind of supposed to be that way. They wrote it that way, at least then, because at that time, you remember, Yamcha stopped training and he had basically retired, so it didn't make sense for him to show up. But Tien Shinhan showed up. Chaozu did not. He told Chaozu to chill on the block, you know, go smoke a cigarette, man, go eat you some potato chips, something, but, you know, just watch from a distance, because we're going to do this. And it made sense because Tien is one of the characters, you know, from the Z team who is always going to be practicing martial arts. He never stops. He's one of the only characters in the whole history of the Z team who never stops. Krillin has stopped a number of times. He's retired. He's hung up his fucking his gi, and he's went and, you know, became a police officer, you know, doing boring police officer type shit. Now he's a super cop. He's definitely that. But he's not really getting his shirt dirty. He's not really tapping into, you know, his any other potential he had, you know, training. You know, I'm talking about top flight training like my boy Tien is doing. Tien is always trying to get better no matter what the fucking cost, okay? And it doesn't matter if he's going up against somebody 10 times stronger than him or or is somebody he's stronger than. He's going to come with 110% all the fucking time, whether he's shaking in his shoes or not. Okay. I mean, he went up against Boo. He saved Gohan from Boo. I mean, he went up against Cell to try to stop him. I mean, he knew he was outmatched. He still did what he could do, and he was still contributing. All right. That's why I just don't understand for the life of me why he doesn't get the respect he deserves. And when you're dealing with Toriyama, he is a guy who doesn't particularly like Tien. That is not one of his favorite characters, and he's probably one of the low end characters and I say that because the proof is in the pudding when it comes to that. If you check the history of this character and what's been happening with his character after Dragon Ball, then you would understand perfectly. Toriyama has a how can I put this? An issue with having too many characters, number one, because he's created all these characters, man. You got to think about all the characters we've seen from Dragon Ball all the way to fucking really Super now. There's so many fucking characters, man. He's admitted himself that he's forgotten about characters. He's forgotten characters' abilities. He's done this. Whenever you have that many characters and you're working on multiple manga or said anime, you're going to forget some shit. All right. You're going to leave some things out. And, I think Tien is one of those who paid a pretty hefty price for that. And one who's even paid a bigger price for that, I can argue, would be fucking Gohan. And that's another, issue that I want to tackle. Because Gohan is really, he's one of the more popular characters. So, you're going to get, people's eyes are going to open up wider. They're going to perk up when they hear Gohan's voice, when they hear Gohan's name. I mean, Toriyama really did some things that were very questionable when it comes to Gohan, in my opinion. Now, let me say, before I get into all these ranting and all the shit I'm about to do, let me say first and foremost that I love Akira Toriyama. Let me say that first. If it was no Toriyama, there would be no Dragon Ball. There would not even be characters, to be discussed right now on this podcast. There would probably not even be a podcast if it was not for Toriyama, for me personally. So everything that I'm talking about now and all the bitching and moaning you're about to hear is just from a super fan ranting and raving out of good fun. And it's just something to talk about because, he is a god. Toriyama is a god. Let's just keep it real. I mean, we all know this, and I always think of him like that. I respect this man, immensely for what he has done, what he has given me as a fan, and you guys listening, and everybody else out there. So please don't get it twisted. I'm just, venting my frustrations, and passionate fans do that, and it's always, if you do it healthy, in a healthy way, I think it's cool. I don't wish any bad upon him because of what he's written and everything like that. I mean, the simple fact that I'm so mad about Ten Shin Han, in the first place, he created him. So, I mean, if he didn't create him, I mean, how could I even give a fuck about him? You see what I'm saying? Same thing with Vegeta and so on and so forth. So I want to get that out the way first. But let's jump back in this rabbit hole real quick. And we're talking about Gohan now. Because, where he's going to go from here. Will he make an appearance? I hope that he will. His daughter's in here, so he's got to be close by. All right. Piccolo's in here as well. Piccolo's like his second father. All right. Let's keep it real with each other. Piccolo basically raised Gohan for an extended period of time when Goku wasn't around and he was dead and all that shit. So, whenever one of those guys are around, usually another one is close by. Now, when you have Piccolo and Pan, Gohan is got to be somewhere in the building. All right. Now, where a lot of people get frustrated when it comes to Gohan is the fact that I'll take it back to the fucking Tournament of Power. All right, that's where it started for me. That's when I noticed it. All right, and I'm not even a Gohan fan like that. The only Gohan I really give a fuck about is Future Gohan. That is my Gohan. If I had to choose a Gohan character, that's the Savage Gohan. That's the Gohan I love. Okay, I'm a huge fan of Future Gohan. All right. Especially one-armed Gohan, all right? But we're not talking about the past. We're not talking about a alternate Gohan. We're talking about the current Gohan. And the current Gohan has been, being shafted. The current Gohan is covered in fucking warm butter, okay? He's got hickeys on the back of his neck that he can't get off. I mean, he's been getting fucked. Let's keep it real with each other for a while now, okay? And I think this is where the plot holes come in. All right, and those are the most noticeable plot holes. The two characters I can come up with, really three, or you really four. If you, I'm talking about Gotenks and Trunks. I'm talking about Gohan, those three Saiyans, and then Ten Shinhan. And most people overlook Ten Shinhan because they just wrap him up in a small box and say, well, he's a human and he's one of the weaker fighters, so we don't really give a fuck. But for a super fan like me, people who notice all of those type of things, I noticed Ten's shit early. Okay, I noticed this shit really still in Dragon Ball. Okay, if you go back to fucking all the way to Dragon Ball when fucking Goku was a child, all right, when Tien learned how to use the Kamehameha technique with his third eye, okay, that ability. I think what happened with Toriyama with some of these characters is he made them a little bit too fucking OP, and he didn't. I don't know if he knew how far the series was gonna go. And I think I remember him saying something like that as well, because I remember he initially wanted to stop the series after the Frieza saga. Then people said, oh, well, you should do a little bit more. And then he went to Cell, and then he was going to end it off on Cell. And then people, the love and stuff was still going on. So he stretched it again and did another arc with the Buu arc. And that's how the Buu arc happened. So he didn't expect it to stretch as far, but still, these characters were being OP. Like, they were just a little too OP. I think the abilities he gave them, were a little too OP. Like Tien's one of his abilities that he's never used. He's only used it one time. You've never seen him use this shit after this. Think about it. That third eye. Okay, it's not there. It's not there just for decoration. All right. He's mentioned that in Dragon Ball. That third eye is actually a fucking gift. That third eye is very powerful. Okay, it's like the Sharingan in Naruto, like Kakashi's Sharingan. I mean, it can see something, and then it can fucking record it and duplicate it. All right, it's that potent. He's never ever thrown a Kamehameha in his fucking life, and he saw it being done, and he was able to replicate it. Okay, I mean, I can't make this shit up. That fucking technique right there was just too OP for its own good. Because think about it. How many times, if you were Tien, okay, or if you were fighting beside him, would you use that fucking technique? That's a fucking game-changing technique. You mean to tell me, motherfucker, I can use I could learn the Galick Gun. I could learn the fucking, I could learn the Kaioken. I could learn all these things. Like, do you know the potential that fucking has? So he could technically, Toriyama could have really easily written Tien as a more of a Piccolo type of character if he wanted to. Okay, he's not as strong as the Saiyans, of course, and there's still a substantial gap between them eventually, because Saiyans always keep growing, and eventually there's going to be some sort of soft cap for the other Z fighters, unless something catastrophic happens. But I mean, we're talking anime, so anything is possible. So if you wanted to give anybody a Zenkai boost, if you wanted to give anybody a couple steps up in the game, Tien could definitely be one of those. And another one that you could easily give him is the simple fact that if you remember in the Cell Saga, where everybody was going to the hyperbolic time chamber, when it was time for Tien to go, he straight up said he wasn't going to go because it wouldn't do any good. That's something Tien would never fucking say, number one. Okay, when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Tien would never say that. His mentality would never be that. Tien is always the person that says, I'm going to get as good as I can get. I'm going to train when I'm not sleep and eating. I'm fucking training. That's what all Tien does. He's got his own fucking school now. He's got his own students. He is a true master of the martial arts. Okay. And for him to say, I'm not going to take a couple days to go in this fucking time chamber and get better, you got to be fucking kidding me. So that right there is a plot hole in itself. Okay, you're writing shit that your own character would never fucking say. That's one. All right. And that eye is the other one. I mean, those two things together, I mean, you could get a Super Zenkai boost with those just by themselves. Okay. And then here was another one that kind of it made me really pissed off. I'm not going to lie. In Dragon Ball Super, when Goku was going around recruiting all of his old homies, and Tien was one of them, he went to Tien's school and was basically telling him, hey, what, you still practicing? You still studying martial arts? And Tien, first thing out of his mouth, of course, Of course, that is my life. Okay. Now, then when Master Roshi gets possessed or whatever, and he starts fighting Tien, what does he do? He breaks out the fucking four witch technique. If you guys don't know what that is the move where he grows two extra arms out of his back. Okay, so now he has 4 arms, and he pulls that move out. And when he did that, and then got beat, okay, by Master Roshi, I was livid. I was super hot. I was touched. I was tight. I was upset. Any word you can think of, man. Okay. Number one, you beat somebody who was easily passed you up in Dragon Ball. Okay. When Tien finally passed Master Roshi, it was in Dragon Ball. It was in the tournament, the 22nd martial arts tournament. All right, when he finally realized, oh, these motherfuckers are wet. These motherfuckers are extremely wet. When he realized that, and wet means W-E-T-T, it means amazing or highly skilled, guys, if you guys don't know, for the new listeners. But yes, he's extremely fucking wet, and these guys were the new generation. You know what I mean? I'm going to bow gracefully, so to speak. Now, even though Master Roshi is the OG, he is the shit. I love Master Roshi to fucking death, but he is not beating Tien Shinhan now. Tien has passed him, okay? And let's all keep it real with each other. Shit, Krillin has passed him. I mean, all his students have passed him, all right? Even Yamcha, all right, are all better now than Roshi. Now, and all that was solidified in Dragon Ball, okay? At least with Tien Shinhan. The other ones hadn't quite caught up to him yet. Well, Krillin and Yamcha, I'd say. But now, you see that. And then I'm looking at myself like, why the fuck would he use that technique? A technique he has not used since Dragon Ball. Another technique, he hasn't used. Why would he pull that out? Okay. Out of all the techniques, why would he use that? And then on top of it, to not even win. It just showed me that they have no respect for him as a character, for Tien. He's basically a character they made him a little bit too OP, and they said, well, fuck, we're going to water him down, and he's part of the Z team, so we're still going to keep him here. I just don't understand it, man. I just don't. I love Tien because he's a unique fighter. Same way I kind of like Piccolo. His moves are very distinctive. He's very technically sound. He's one of those guys that he's just really technically sound. Even in the RPG game, his technical ability is like the strongest out of all the fighters. He's just a technical guy. He's just a really good fighter, and his moves are crazy. And even though he's weaker, he's one of the weaker characters, he has the potential to do top flight damage to strong characters. In other words, he can still kill a top tier character. He could have killed Vegeta. He could have killed Nappa with that fucking tri-beam. Okay? He almost killed Nappa with that tri-beam. If Vegeta wouldn't have said shit, it would have been game over. If he wouldn't have moved out the last second, it would have been game over for Nappa. Okay? But at the cost of his ki and losing his own life for the simple fact. But those are the things that, really upset me when it comes to Tien Shinhan. And all the things he can do. And, you would think by now, at least he would have mastered that a little bit, some sort of way where he could use that ability and not, I wouldn't say just, take any of his ki, but enough to where he could do those attacks and not have it cost him his life. There's a lot of different things that, if I was writing for Tien, I would change, and it would be believable. It would be perfectly believable. And nobody would say anything. No one would say, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. None of that shit. And that's my issue, and that's my beef with his character. Okay. It just is. He has some of the dopest moves. Like I said, the tri-beam is ridiculous. He's different variations. He can do it in the air. He can do it on the ground. My favorite one is the one he did. He did on the ground with one hand after he lost it to Nappa. And, he's just an awesome character. The tri-beam, the solar flare, which is his, by the way, multi-form technique. Okay, people forget about the multi-form technique. Whose form is that? That was Tien Shinhan's technique, guys. He introduced it. Okay, so the Z team is using that now. They're using, they have, Krillin is fucking jacked his fucking, solar flare now. and made it a hybrid version of that. You know what I mean? So they're taking his moves and they're taking shit from him, but they're not giving anything back. So that was my issue with Tien. And I could talk for hours about his character. No fucking bullshit. And I could teach anybody anything they need to know about why he's so dope and why they need to, learn more about him in this Dragon Ball world. Okay. But now let's move on to fucking Gohan. Gohan has got a lot of people upset because he's a popular character. So, they're going to see him a little bit more. And then the fact that he's half Saiyan, it kills it. But here's where Toriyama fucked up, in my opinion. Toriyama fucked up the minute he fucking did the fucking Cell Saga. But like I said, he wrote that thinking that that was going to be it. He was handing over the keys to Gohan, and that was going to be the end of the story. Goku dies and all of that. But he extended it, and he had to figure out a way to bring Goku back and have them coexist. And it was okay in all of Z. But when Super came around, that's where shit got spicy. Okay? And that's where he really dropped the ball, because Gohan was so OP. He was literally stronger than everybody else. Vegeta included, Goku included, everybody in the Cell Saga. So he's shown you he could reach that pinnacle. What makes you think he couldn't reach that pinnacle again? There's nothing that can tell you, that would tell me otherwise, that he could, especially when he got serious again, which he supposedly did in Dragon Ball Super later on, before the Tournament of Power. He said, I'm serious again, I've been training, and only to be watered down, nerfed, whatever you want to call it. That's all that happened to him. All right. And then he hasn't been seen fucking since. These next couple arcs that we're looking at now, the Granola arc and the Prisoner arc, Galactic Patrolman Prisoner arc, he's nowhere to be fucking seen. He's nowhere to help. None of that. Why would he be helping his dad fight? Why wouldn't he be there with his Saiyan blood out there in the trenches with them? Why wouldn't he not be there? Why would he not be fighting? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense. All right. Now you can kind of play off Gotenks and Trunks a little bit because they're younger and all of that. But now you're getting to the point where you can't do that either, because those guys are serious competitors in their own fucking right. All right. Especially together. So you're dealing with a couple other powerhouses or potential powerhouses that can help you or help Gohan and Vegeta, get shit done. And they're not doing it. They want to make it the Goku and Vegeta show. And, look, Vegeta's my favorite character in Dragon Ball. I'm not going to, eat your lunch for putting him in the front. And hopefully I see him one day surpass Goku at least once for a little bit. But, I'd be lying if I told you that as a pure Dragon Ball fan, I want to see some other shit. I want to see more layers to what's been taking place, because everything has become, borderline predictable with, the way that they're doing this series. Okay. It needs to be mixed up. It needs to add some seasoning in there. You need to add a little garnish on the side and all that. You need to introduce these other characters, give them some Zenkai boosts. You can easily do it for a lot of these characters. I'm telling you, I just gave you a whole blueprint of what you can do for Ten Shinhan to put him up there, to make him, more viable, if you will. He's never stopped training. He's always trained. So there's your excuse there. There's the third eye. Okay, there's that technique, that ability. There's so many things you could use. Now Yamcha, you could definitely, he's training again. He's learned a few things. Krillin, you already did that. You did that in fucking Super. You gave him that ability. You also gave him a Zenkai boost because of all the things he was doing. He was learning. So if you could do it for him, you could do it for the rest of the squad easily. Okay, I'm going to leave Chaozu out, but I mean, sure, he can get stronger, but we're talking about the main guys, and that's cool. But come on, man. I mean, Piccolo, of course. Piccolo is one of the smartest minds in Dragon Ball, one of the most strategic minds in all of Dragon Ball when it comes to fighting and how to, in combat and how everything works. He fights with his brain. Okay, so he's a very tactical fighter. All right, and you mean to tell me you couldn't capitalize on all these things? Come on, man. All the Zenkai boosts these guys have been getting, especially Piccolo, up until Super. I mean, you can figure out another way to make that happen. because it's so easy for Saiyans, because look, they just get stronger every time they fight, which brings me back to Gohan. Okay, he can do the same thing. Same thing with Gotenks, same thing with Trunks, and they're still sitting at the same place. Now, the reason why I'm bringing all this shit up is because this movie, we got this time skip, and I'm going to be so anxious to see where these characters end up with this time skip, as far as how they look, as far as what they've learned, and as far as how strong they've gotten. This has got to be, I know a lot of Gohan fans are rubbing their hands together like Birdman right now, waiting to fucking find out, is he coming back? Is Gohan back? Are we finally going to see Gohan return and make his, triumphant return? I'm curious, because I'm curious, man, because a serious Gohan who is training and doing everything he, like his dad and like Vegeta's doing, that's a dangerous person. That has very potential. I'm serious. That has some fucking dangerous potential right there. Okay, a new form. Could you see Gohan come out with a new fucking form and shock everybody? Shit come out gray. His hair turns gray. Who knows? Maybe he's got the fucking mystic Gohan thing going, and he doesn't change the fucking thing. He learns how to keep everything intact. Who fucking knows? But I'll tell you what, you train long enough and you got Saiyan blood in you, you're gonna transform. Something's going to happen to your body. Okay, and same thing goes for Trunks. Same thing goes for Gotenks. I want to see them emerge. I want to see them look like teenagers, and I want to see them contribute more as far as the series, man, and moving forward. Well, we know we have 2 arcs right now, but they're not going to be seen. That's the part that hurts. Now, we may see them in anime form doing other shit, like he may show, a slice of life episode where they're in the forest doing their thing or something like that, but or Goku home with his family and stuff like that, dealing with home life. But as far as like them out there on the field, we know we're not going to see that. So this movie is very important with this time skip, because it's going to show us where we're going to go forward, because then we'll have the 2 arcs, and then the next arc is really going to be like, okay, is this arc going to be the one to take place after all this, and we get to see a different dynamic of characters here? I would love to see that, man. I would love to see everybody involved in some way, shape, form, or fashion, even if they're just on the battlefield showing support, doing whatever they can do, take attention off of, one of the characters if they're getting hurt or something, anything, because all these characters are too powerful, too important to not, you know what I mean? They're not regular humans. These are superhumans, and I'm talking about on the lowest tier. All of them are superhuman. They fly. They fucking know how to master their ki. They can do a lot of things. So they should be incorporated in some shape, form, or fashion moving forward. And that's my issue with Toriyama, with the whole Dragon Ball thing. And I had the best way I can compare it, the anime that pops in my head right now as soon as I think of it, is fucking One Punch Man. If you have not seen One Punch Man, I highly recommend go out there and watch One Punch Man. Okay, One Punch Man started in a manga, started in funny papers in Japan, just as a little one-off type of little thing. Okay, some bald-haired dude who's just OP as fuck and doing his thing. But most of us know who One Punch Man is. But if you haven't seen the anime, you definitely need to go see it, and you'd understand what I mean. One Punch Man, what makes the anime so dope, is that it focuses on everybody else around him. One Punch Man is so powerful, and they want you to know that, oh yeah, this guy's OP as fuck. So, but we want to show you everybody else who are powerful in their own right. Everybody else around him is so potent and powerful, but he still has that huge gap between everybody. But just because you have that huge gap does not mean that you can't make a good show. You can't write a good story with the other characters. And that's what makes it beautiful, because all the other characters are on the same kind of in the same ballpark of each other, and it makes those epic fights. It's just dope. One Punch Man hardly ever has to come and do anything unless it's at the very end. Okay. But it's the way that they use all of the support characters, all the other characters surrounding One Punch Man is what makes him and makes that anime so dope. It emphasizes his power in the end, and then it shows you just good writing and good storytelling, with the other characters, man. Okay, like I'm telling you, it's just awesome. And if you haven't seen it, you won't understand, but once you see it, you'll really understand what I mean. And there's other anime you could probably take notes from as well and use that same recipe, but that is the main one, guys. And that is where you need to hope that we get some of the things I've talked about here. We get some of that to bleed into this next movie, man. I really hope so. Okay. They claim it's going to be a dope fight. There's going to be a lot of dope fighting scenes and all that. I'm hoping to see all of the characters, and I'm hoping to see them used, in a good way. I mean, Resurrection of F was a really good example of how, they could have, that was done. It was done where everybody came in, everybody had a part to play, and they played it, and they played it well for the most part. I just want to see more of that, and I'll be happy, man. I will. I mean, just give my boy Tien his little slice of pie. Give him his little slice, his little whipped cream on the top, and I'm good. You don't have to give him the big piece of chicken. Okay, just give him a couple McNuggets and some fries. We good. All right. That's all I'm saying, guys. And not just him, but of course Gohan and of course the kids. I want to see them grow, and I want to see new arcs being made, being born. That's what this is all about. If you're gonna continue this series and you're gonna continue to make it, span out years and years and years, I mean, you got to put some different shit on there. It can't always be the Goku and Vegeta show. And if we're being honest with each other, just the Goku show. All right, because at one point in your mind, at one point you had a brilliant idea. Okay, you had an idea that was going to allow Gohan to take over and hand over the baton and, be that guy. I want to see something else like that. I want to see something close to that. Or even I'd be so happy with like a side series. Nobody's ever really talked about this. What about a side series that's focused on the Z Fighters? Okay, and their adventures and their exploits. Okay, there's a lot of enemies out there. There's a lot of things that they could definitely handle. They could come up with their own thing. And, of course, you got the big macaronis, which is Vegeta and Goku out there, doing other shit. You know what I'm saying? And you basically let them handle the light work and go on. Or you could have something about, with Gohan. I'm sorry, not Gohan. Gotenks and Trunks. You could have something with them, some of their expeditions, some of their adventures. There's so many things you could do with these other characters besides let them just waste away on the sideline, because you're just wasting them. I think you could do a lot of different things with these characters. I mean, that's why I like a lot of the fantasy stuff, a lot of the fan-made stories. There's some dope fan-made stories out there, that I had witnessed. I was able to read and pick apart. There was one where basically it was about they changed the story up, and they had Goku actually die. Okay, he died, and basically Vegeta wasn't there. All these guys. The only ones were left were I think it was Yamcha, it was Tien, it was Krillin, and it was Master Roshi. I think those were the only four left, and they had to fight. They had to fight the Saiyans. They had to be the ones to prep, and they ended up dying. But it was realistic, and it was a dope story. They still fought. They still they did their thing, and I think Yamcha was actually the leader in that. I want to say. It was crazy, but it was just a different alternative story set in the same universe, and I think that we need more of that. If we can get some more of that, that would be awesome. And make it canon, or don't make it canon. Make it, like the Marvel universe. Shit, you know how many alternate universes there are in Marvel? Okay, we can do the same thing with anime, guys. So I don't know. I'm just tired of the same thing. I want to see something different. Hopefully it will be different, and not just the aesthetics of the movie, which he said was going to be different, with the CGI mixed in and all that. I want to see different writing, a little bit different. I want to see characters, who I haven't seen in a while, who need to be, pushed to the front. Gohan is the main character, and I'm telling you, I'm not even a Gohan fan, but man, Stevie Wonder could see what needs to be done here. Okay, you can't keep somebody that powerful on the bench. Somebody who you had claimed he was serious about fighting again back on Dragon Ball Super, and then you just dropped him. You just fucking dropped him. So it's just all this passion is what it is. This passion is just, I love the series, man. So I'm very passionate. So I hope you guys appreciate this episode, because I can't remember the last time I did an episode with nothing but Dragon Ball the whole fucking time. It's been a while, but it feels fucking great. It really does. It got a lot of stuff off my chest I was able to discuss with you guys. And yeah, man, it was pretty dope. But that's my feeling. Though that is how I feel about, the whole state of Dragon Ball Super, if you will, right now. And if you ask me what my favorite is, because there's Dragon Ball, then there's Dragon Ball Z, and then there's Dragon Ball Super. They all have their fucking charm to them. They really do. But if I had to pick one, it'd be Dragon Ball Z all day. Dragon Ball fucking Z. Second would be Dragon Ball. I mean, sometimes the way I'm feeling, it might be Dragon Ball one day and it might not be, because back then everything was so grounded, and that was before everybody could fly really. And also, for another side tangent, Tien Shinhan was also the first one to fucking learn how to fly. Let me also put that out there as well. So I mean, so many firsts for Tien. He also won the 22nd martial arts tournament. For you guys who don't know, he did beat Goku, Kid Goku, in that tournament, barely, but he won it. So he does have a tournament under his belt as well. He has a championship on his wall. So I'm just saying, guys, dude is definitely giving a lot to the series, and I think that he deserves more than what he's getting. All right, that's just my humble opinion, and I'll bow gracefully on that. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Before I leave, though, I'm gonna explain to you guys why I was so fucking busy, and I've been busy for the last few weeks. It's because I've been working on so much shit. I've been so busy, guys. I've had my nose in this, and I've been trying to get shit done. Okay, and what does that entail? Basically, I've been trying to just expand my internet chops, if you will. Okay, my social media ventures, if you want to call it that. So I've got YouTube channels in the works. I've got all kinds of stores I've been working on. Matter of fact, I was going to give a shout out to one of my stores now. It just went up, and also Instagram. If you go to Instagram, definitely check out this name, and it goes by the name of Dragon Ball Drip 247. Okay, Dragon Ball Drip 247. Okay, it's a new Instagram page I started. It's strictly all things Dragon Ball. I literally started. It hasn't even been out a few days. So I've been just doing a little post here and there, post a day at least. Sometimes I'll post 2 or 3 times a day moving forward. And then I also have a merch store. It's called DragonBallDrip.com. So if you guys want to check out my first piece, or so to speak, the featured thing in the store, it's there. Just go to DragonBallDrip.com, and I'm not even going to describe it to you. I just want you to see it for yourself. I'm not even going to say anything about it. I'll just let you see it. Okay. You can also show love to me if you go to DragonBallDrip.com and you buy a t-shirt or a hoodie or a tank top or some shit. Okay. Pretty dope. You'll see. You'll have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. That's why I'm not even going to describe it. I'll just let it happen. But yeah, so I've been really busy trying to do all those things. And then, like I said, I'm an artist in my own right. So, I did design that, and the logo and everything, and all that. And I'm working on like a line, you know what I'm saying? For the DragonBallDrip.com, and it's going to be dope. Okay. It's going to be, my take on the Dragon Ball universe, different characters that I would create, and I would just insert them into the Dragon Ball universe, and that's what they would be. So it's a lot of hard work, but I've been busting my ass. I've been on this fucking iPad and with this iPencil like a motherfucker, just trying to, do new concepts and things, working on a lot of stuff. Got a lot of things coming, all right, for you guys. So I will keep you posted, and let you guys know. I also have, like I said, some new YouTube channels, man. I have a YouTube channel. I just started a new one. It's called Random Gameplay Pimpin', and it's basically a bunch of video game trailers, and then some gameplay of certain games. All kind of games, man. Mobile games, fucking any game you can think of. If it's a game, it's a video game, it's going to be there. Okay, so it's fresh. It's just started. So looking forward to that adventure as well. So all these things I'm just trying to do and keep in the background. And like I said, man, it's investing in yourself, guys. If you have an idea, if you have something you're into, something you love, I highly encourage anybody out here listening to take a pen, take a pad, write those things down, and I guarantee you there's a way to make money off of it. It may not be immediate, but there are ways to invest your time, and not necessarily even money, just some time, a little time every day, and it will go a long way in the future. I'm telling you. I've already seen some results from some of this stuff, man, and like I said, it's ridiculous. It really is. And imagine doing that for 5 years, and 5 years later, and you having all these other forms of income, residual income coming in, and you're making money while you sleep. I mean, that's the age we live in now, and that's what I want to do, because I love this shit. I love talking on the microphone. I love playing video games. I love watching anime. That, like, I just want to have fun with my life. You know what I mean? And have time with my kids and have time to do extra things. And this is going to help me, put me in that position. And then when I'm old and shit, I don't have to work. I could just go to the mailbox and get paid. I don't even have to go to the mailbox. Okay. I'll just cling my phone and it goes right into my bank account. So that is what I've been focusing on, guys. And I highly encourage you guys to do some of that as well. But with that being said, man, that is going to do it for the show, for the podcast. I'm glad that I got to talk about Dragon Ball. It's been so long that I got to talk about it for a whole fucking episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I told you guys before, I'm going to try to incorporate a little bit of Dragon Ball in every episode, at least most episodes moving forward, guys, because I felt I've been neglecting it too long, and that is part of what made this podcast. All right. And I know a lot of you guys listening out there, I could think of a few people who are very happy, probably smiling ear to ear right now, because they got this podcast. And they got me to do a whole podcast about Dragon Ball. So I know a lot of you have been waiting on it. I got it. Look forward to telling more stories and having more discussions about Dragon Ball. And that's going to do it for the show. Don't forget, go to DragonBallDrip.com. Also check out StudioMaguyver.com. And with that being said, guys, I love each and every one of you guys. I'll see you next Monday. We do this every Monday, same bad time, same bad channel. I'm out. This is your boy, Studio Maguyver. And you have been watching, or listening to, shall I say, Studio Maguyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.